I've been asked more than a few times if I ever plan to become a VTuber. Get a model and then slap this big purple face down in the corner of my videos and streams. Well, the easy answer here is no. I've never really considered it a good option for me. Not that I have anything against VTubing, it's just that I don't think it would add anything for me or my content. But that doesn't mean I've never thought of alternatives. A few years ago, I gave this some serious thought, had an idea, and I've been refining it ever since. And the other night while I was live, my chat brought up the VTubing thing again, so I decided to illustrate this idea. You're watching a Beelz stream, and Beelz doesn't have the right brush selected, so let's pick a better brush. You're watching a Beelz stream, and why is it? No, I want... What is this brush? I want a general use, hard, round brush. I do not want... No, go away. No, now it's not as hard anymore. I need it firm. That's less firm. What's going on here? Why does the wet media brush work? Why? What have I done recently that... Now it's... What do you mean now it's... You're watching little VTuber Beelz, and you got your little... Let's make it bigger for the sake of explanation. So little VTuber Beelz exists down here in this little corner, right? There's a sky up here and stuff, and oh, wee. And the game has, you know, grass and whatever, and we're playing a game, and there's like... I don't know, fucking mountains and shit in the distance. Ooh. Ooh. Look at the mountains in the distance and stuff. Ooh. And we've got our... we're going to use the color purple here. We've got our Trepid Adventurer in the middle. He's got, you know... He's over here, you know, he's got... He's got his sword... And he's got his cool, I don't know, fucking silver shield now. Ooh. Look at that. And he's adventuring. Oh, he's off doing stuff. Meanwhile, while you're he stands up. While you're watching Beelz play game or whatever, over here, instead of an actual VTuber that sits in the corner and talks to you, you have a little stick man. I should not have drawn the adventurer to look like a stick man, but here's the stick man. The stick man can move around. And what you do as a chatter is you affect the world he lives in. I also need to add that the world he lives in is line paper. Because he's a little stick man. And I need to draw him... hang on, I figured this out. I've done this wrong. Hold up. I want it to look scrunched up. I want it to have some creases and folds on it to make it look like an old discarded piece of paper that was thrown away in a school somewhere. But it doesn't matter. So, that's way too big. Little stick man exists in his little line world. He's got a sassy little hip... Damn, he's got an ass on him. So he exists down here, right? There he is. And while you're watching your stream, little stickman can be dicked with however you want. So you could do things like turn his little world upside down. You could be all like, I want to turn him upside down. And he goes, what? And he falls on his head and stuff like that. You have accessories that you can give him. So it's like, I want to give the little stickman a sword that matches the sword in our game. So you can just, you know, do the sword thing. And little, let's make him a red one. And then little stickman, ka-ching! He gets a cool little flaming red sword, and he gets to swing it around and do stuff with it. The best feature, of course, is clothing. You can be all like, oh, can I give the little stickman a sick pair of, like, denim jeans? I want him jeaned up. And you dress up your little stickman, and as stream goes on, chat get to interact with the stickman in whatever way they want. It's a little stickman that you can choose to do whatever the fuck you want. You want to give him... a fluoro, weird magenta pink looking fucking top hat? Do it. Give him this big old pink top hat shit, and then we'll give it like a purple band on it. Then we'll put some little sparkly star looking things on it. Look at that. He's got a little top hat. What a cute little dude. Sounds like a lot of work. That's the point. I'm glad you said that. You've caught up. You've caught up to the problem, right? So, the way that VTubing is moving right now is a lot of people are putting a lot of their money and time into the model itself. Interactivity is low, the model fidelity is high. There are so many VTuber girls where it's like the character has all of these like facial feature animations and movement features. The outfits are incredibly busy. There's a lot of moving parts. Whenever she moves, the whole dress moves, all the little dangly, the earrings have to move. She's got hair accessories, like little clips and hats, and just there's so much going on, right? It's a very busy thing with how models for VTubing work right now. So my idea was, what if you do the exact opposite? What if as a VTuber model, or as a little PNG model down here, not PNG, but you want to make him moving, what if you gave the audience all of that budget? So instead of making this incredibly over-designed, high-fidelity little character down here, this little dude, what if you put all of the effort into rigging a skeleton that works incredibly well, and you have basic things? So instead of getting a model rigger to create an exceptional piece of 3D art, all they have to do on a whim is like, hey, chat want a top hat that's pink for the character, and all they got to do is this. Make a funny pink, like, pimp hat. New asset. It's a 2D asset. You don't need it to be 3D. He is a 2D stick figure. He's in a 2D world. Chat would like denim pants. Can we do denim pants? And all they have to do is model out, from a 2D perspective, just blue that covers his legs. You could just make it like an overlap. Just make it so that it goes over his legs previously, and there it is. So it's simple. It doesn't have to be months of modeling, like high fidelity, high quality VTuber model stuff, which I know it's very impressive what they can do, but it's so much work. Whenever a VTuber gets a new model made, you've got chibi ones, you've got big full 3D modeled ones. They take ages to make and a lot of money. Someone like Iron Mouse gets a new model made, that's a lot of money. All the HoloLive girls and all that kind of stuff, that's a lot of money, man, to get those models moving and doing what they want them to do. If all you had to do was make this little guy down here, and you just make shit for him, like, what if your idea was, hey, he looks a bit, like, you know, lonely down there. Can we make him a sun? And you just have, like, a little sun in the corner. And you take all of this, and you attach it to channel points. And it becomes a channel point sync, because no one spends channel points on fucking anything. So it's like, spend, you know, 1,000 points, and he gets a little sun. And the sun can sit in there for a while, or for an hour, or whatever. Or it's like, you know what? Fuck that guy. He doesn't deserve anything. I hate Stickman. And so you spend some channel points, and you create this angry rain cloud. And the angry little rain cloud, all it does is it sits above him, and it rains on him. Aww. And when it rains on him, he goes sad, and his little face turns sad, and then someone in chat could be poggers and decide, oh no, it's raining on little Stickman, so I'm gonna give him a little green umbrella. It looks like a pickaxe. We'll pretend it's an umbrella. I'm not a drawer. You know, and then while the shitty fucking cloud is pissing rain, which is meant to be blue, you know, it keeps him protected, that kind of thing. And you can have tons of these, and then you get really into it. You get really deep with it, and you start creating ones that people spend money on if you want to monetize it. And it's like, right, spend $1, and you can give him like a crown or whatever. Like, spend $1 and you can make him a king for an hour. So it's like, oh, $1 spent, and it's like, aha, it's King Stickercus, and all you need to do is, you know, do something like this, and he gets a cool flowing fucking red cape that flows down off of him kind of thing, and he gets to be a king for a bit, and you can put little fucking, let me shrink it a little bit, little gold sparklies that sparkle around him because he's so lordly and kingly, and like, oh, look at him, he's so cool looking. And chat just keep doing this as time goes on. They're like, oh, I want to make him a king. And then someone's like, make it rain on the king. And then they're like, oh, put an umbrella on the king's hand. And it just turns into a game of cat and mouse. And some people are sabotaging him and some are not. And then in the middle of all of this, someone drops like 5,000 subs and turns him upside down for a minute. And it's like, oh, now everything's upside down. It's fucking silly. And he falls down. Like, he has to, like, gravity works. I want the paper that he's on to have physics. So when this turns upside down, he goes, ah, and he like hits the ground and he's like, ow, I landed on the, ow. You keep rotating him and it's like, ah, shit, leave me alone. Because realistically, when you make the stick man, if you're modeling or rigging him, the idea is you want to rig certain key points, like his hands and his legs, and you model key points, or his head for hats and stuff like that, like you have with actors with fucking CG and shit like that, right? Where you put your little dots on them. And all he needs are these little, like, entry point plugs. And once you've done that, doing things like, oh, give him a weapon. Well, if you've modeled the weapon, so just attach it here. And now whenever his little arm moves, the weapon moves with it, right? All you need to do is do that with a stick man. And then if you want to get, like, really deep into it, when you start getting, like, really high on it, you just change his face. So it's like, oh, chat wants to change his expression. So instead of making him blank face stick man, he's really happy today. Look, it's Happy Stickman. Oh, he's so happy. Or you can, spend more points and do things like an anime girl face for a little bit. Let's make him kawaii, and you have, like, kawaii Stickman. And there'd be an entire menu for this. Now, if you want it to get really out of control, you make a Twitch plugin, similar to, like, stream avatars, where you can make a little on-screen avatar using the stream avatars plugin. You make a plugin so that you can put all of these in a big list, because it's not going to fit on Twitch's default channel point redeem thing. You'd have to put in, like, redeems that have money on there and then have it all, work. There's a lot you can do with this. There's a ton that you can do. Put his little face back. I've forgotten now that I was going to mention things like erase his legs. Stickman doesn't get legs anymore, and an eraser comes and scribbles out his legs, and he's like, no, and he hits the ground. He's just crawling around on the ground without legs for a bit, and it's like, ah. Or you could, redeem like 1,000 points, and it's like, fix Stickman, and he, haha, he's got legs back again. He's back up standing and shit. The game is being played over here. Like, stream is happening. And chat have something to engage with besides just sitting there and watching the stream. You can do something, because what VTubing is doing is putting an avatar there for you to look at the same time. Funny faces, expressions, noises, all that kind of shit. This way, you've got something that you can really, like, dick with. It's a bit like stream avatars, only more involved. As far as an idea goes, I've had this sitting in my back pocket for years. One day, someone's gonna take it and steal it and make it work and do it without me. Because I can't, like... Getting this kind of thing off the ground would still take a decent chunk of money. I might take that little spiel about making a stickman and use that as like the base to make a video for. If I make a video for it, I can reference that video anytime in the future anyone decides to ask me if I'm gonna VTube at some point. And I won't, but I should use this as the thumbnail. Like, this is the thumbnail in general. Someone's going to earn a fortune with Beelz' idea. Well, yeah, once I make a video for it and it goes out into the ether, someone's going to spread it. Someone's going to be all like, dude, that's a great idea. And I have the money to do that. I could find the right people. I have the investments for this. I don't have that kind of disposable cash. You're looking at least a couple grand, probably, to get it off the ground. Doing that all initially is going to cost a penny. After that, things like you play like... think of it this way. It'd be really easy, based on new game systems, to add things to it. Like, oh, we're playing Black Myth Wukong. Can I quickly get a Wukong-inspired little hat? And you can get his little hat thing, and, I'm just kind of scribbling. And then you can give him his little golden grasshopper little feelies that come out. Maybe give him a little Noibo stick. Make it purple for the sake of, that's really thick. It's the Monkey King Stickman! Or Stellar Blade, and it's like, oh, we want Stellar Blade Stickman. It's like, alright, so instead of doing what you would expect, which is to get, like, a really high graphical fidelity, outfit, you give him some, like, disgustingly long ponytail, the way that Eve did in Stellar Blade. maybe do this, and then after you do that, you give him a pair of green boobs. There's Stellar Blade. Stellar Blade. And then if you want to go a step further, you attach all of the sound alerts that you can redeem to Stickman so that when a sound alert plays, stuff happens. Like every time you do gup in chat, he says gup. And it goes gup. Gup. Exactly. Gup. Someone lend me $10,000. You could do Jacked versus Pant. Exactly. You could do Jacked versus Pant. Stop giving me ideas. Stop throwing things out there. Jacked versus Pant would go crazy. So you could give him these like, oh, what's a rad looking color? Pant versus Big Jacked. Before I start wrapping this one up, I just wanted to mention that while throughout the video I do mention this is a simple idea, I'm talking from an art perspective. I'm talking about how if you wanted to make a sword for your stick figure, you just draw a long line and then a slightly shorter line cross-sectioning it down near the handle. Bam, a sword's done. Easy as that. You don't need high quality art for something like this. It's a stick figure on purpose so that the art side of things is, forget about it. Do it in paint, you know, make some PNGs and you're done. The nightmare on this is the coding and the programming. You have to basically animate a lot when it comes to this. You've got to make sure that the stick figure can move on his own independently. If you want him to react to external things like the rain coming down and he puts his hands over his head, changing his facial features, making sure that everything is connected to him properly and moving with him and not detaching, just making sure that the integration with chat alone is a problem in itself, because if they're using either an app that we can connect to Twitch and they can access it similar to things like Stream Avatars, where you can go into a menu and choose things, or if it's done via commands within chat, similar to like, you know, exclamation umbrella, and it puts an umbrella in the guy's hand. There's many ways that you could probably go about this, and all of them are tricky, tedious, and require a lot of trial and error to make it work, as opposed to, you know, VTubing, where a lot of that stuff is already kind of figured out, and we're more or less just pushing the envelope with that now. But most people can get either PNG tubing or very, you know, basic models rigged up to react to someone's movement in real life, where their facial features can react to it, their body sways and moves around. We've kind of figured that out now within the last couple of years, and we're getting to the point where people are making, like, you know, the Porsches of VTuber models that cost like $20,000 and stuff like that. Whereas what I'm doing kind of moves away from those softwares and is just an independently animated thing in a box that has to run on its own regardless of whether I'm sitting in my chair or not. And that's a bit of a pain in the ass. I'd love to see it get off the ground. I'd love to be the one to do it. I don't have the money for that. I don't have the time for that. And I don't have the connections for that. I need to know people who have experience and work in this kind of thing and know how to do that. But with all that said and done, I've got to get out of here. I hope you guys have enjoyed this little taste of something different, little throwaway video about a stupid idea I've been sitting on for a while now. It's out there in the ether, you know, whatever. Maybe it already exists. If you know that it exists, let me know. If you have a link or a name, tell me in the chat and I'll go check things out. But I'd love for something like this to exist so that I can give some more interactivity to my chat during streams. I'll see you all again next time, alright? Have a good one.